A Florida gummy thief offers the police over $1 million to let him go. Florida has eliminated a giant snail that can eat your house. A Florida lady was arrested after hitting her boyfriend with a saucepan full of grits. And the police chased down an elderly Florida woman who stole a truck from outside her assisted living facility. These are the weird stories for Friday. They are all from the state of Florida. That's why this behavior seems off the wall, because it's Florida. It's very typical. I want to thank everyone who sent me Florida stories. We love Florida Fridays, don't you? Let's get into it right away. All the weird news this week from Florida, only on Weird AF News. A gummy thief offers a police officer a very large bribe. This is a Florida man who's also a thief. He has an apparent sweet tooth. He was stealing gummies from a store, and he was caught. And then he tried to bribe the officer in an attempt to keep himself out of jail. His name is Joseph Lee Geist, age 26, of Daytona Beach. He's accused of offering an officer $1.5 million to let him go free after being arrested for stealing candy at a convenience store. Geist is also accused of giving the police a false name, false identification of another person while being investigated in connection with a bag of gummy candies that he stole. He allegedly stole the bag of gummies while waiting for a takeout pizza order. He just couldn't wait. You know, he just had the munchies. Had to take those gummies. Gummies are good. I enjoy gummies, especially when they're loaded with THC, bro. You like them THC, bro? CBD gummies, bro? You into it, bro? The court records state that Geist was actually wanted for felony battery as well. It's just everybody's wanted for felony battery in Florida. Even people buying gummies. Can't trust them. Anybody comes up to you in Florida offering you some gummies, just run the other way. They're definitely a felon. Okay, so when questioned by the police, Joseph stated that his name was Adam. Oh, okay, that was the beginning of it. You can't admit to who you are in Florida, because you know you got a record, bro. While being transported to the county jail, Joseph indicated he wanted to make a deal with the officer. Okay, what is your deal? According to the criminal complaint, Joseph stated that he would pay the officer no less than $750,000 if he would let him go. He made the offer multiple times, increasing the offer little by little. What if I give you $850,000? Will you let me go now? What about, okay, you drive a hot bargain, officer. What about $1 million? $1 million to let me go. What do you say? Okay. Whew, you are stubborn, police officer. What about $1.5 million? It's my final offer. Just pull up to an ATM. I'll give it to you right now. Joseph's been charged with a felony county bribery of a public officer. This is a gross misdemeanor. It's a disgusting misdemeanor. As is giving a false name to an officer. As is the theft of a bag of candy. This guy. Love how you steal a bag of gummies and then you think the officer's going to believe that you have access to $1 million. Really? Florida has eliminated a giant snail that can eat your house. Yeah, which means it can also eat your double-wide trailer. Thankfully, they got rid of the snail. This is an 8-inch master of disaster. It's a snail. And this snail doesn't just eat vegetation in your garden. It'll eat the stucco right off your house. And this snail will give you meningitis. This snail is very unsavory, in my opinion. Thankfully, it's been eliminated from Florida. This isn't the first time the snail has been eliminated from Florida. Officials announced this week the giant, what's called African land snail, has been eradicated from Florida for the second time. Here's a quote from Florida Agricultural Commissioner Nikki. This is truly an exciting day for our state of Florida and for our country. For our whole country, it's an exciting day for our country. I love that she included country. Like the rest of the country's breathing a sigh of relief because your walls aren't being eaten in Florida. I think the rest of the country's like, the sooner Florida can disappear, the better. Let's get more snails. In Florida, the African land snail existed largely in Miami-Dade County, although hundreds of these pests were found in nearby counties. The snail was a threat on many, many levels, considering it carries a parasite. And guess what? This parasite can cause meningitis in human beings. Terrible. This snail not only eats 500 types of plants, it really loves stucco. It loves to eat stucco walls and ceilings. It'll eat your plants. It'll eat your house. That's what Dr. Smith says. It'll eat your plants, eat your house, man. Give you some meningitis right in your bum. You know, you don't want that, right? You got to get rid of this snail. The snails could be brought here internationally. It says intentionally or unintentionally, he says. They have major implications when it comes to Florida's trade and exports, apparently. Well, you know, our trade partners don't want this pesky snail around, you know. Dangerous. They don't want to take it to where they live. It's, you know, everybody's looking out for the snail. Absolutely imperative that we come in and we eradicate the snail so it doesn't impact our international trade. The first giant African land snail was found in Miami in 1966 when a child brought 3 of them from Hawaii. His grandmother threw them out in the yard and they reproduced. All it took was 3. Then they became thousands, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, then millions of snails that, although African, they were from Hawaii. It took almost a decade. They were eradicated by 1975. They're saying here it's unclear how this recent wave of the snails got to Florida, but they spotted them first in 2011. Very, very serious situation. There's a lot of wildlife in Florida that needs to be eradicated. It's good that you got the snail out of there. What about the pythons, guys? You're just going to... I know you have python hunting season and contests, but you're really only making a very small dent in the python population. I think you need to get on the case. What about them gators, guys? What are you just living with gators? You're not going to eradicate these gators? You're just going to be like, this is a part of our lives? Okay. Well, yep, it ate my shoe. Yep, okay. A Florida woman is arrested after hitting her boyfriend with a saucepan filled with grits. A Florida lady was arrested. She's charged with some aggravated battery. There was a verbal dispute, and then it turned very gritty. Hey! It got gritty with a saucepan to the head of her boyfriend. Doesn't say what they were arguing about, but it was a dispute of some sort that ended with some grits to the face. Doris Johnson, age 49, and her boyfriend were arguing. That's when Doris struck the man in the head with a freshly cooked pan of grits. What a waste of grits. Investigators say that the freshly cooked grits spilled onto the victim, causing a burn to his face, his left arm, his head. He needed stitches from the... This poor guy just got taken down by a saucepan full of grits. Bet you he never saw that coming in a million years. He probably loves grits. It's like, grits, my favorite breakfast. Never thought I'd wear them in my eye. Doris Johnson was booked and arrested for aggravated battery. As we've said, she's being held. She's been ordered to not have any contact with the victim. That includes cooking him breakfast ever again. You will not be cooking him breakfast. Yeah, it's funny, these stories about people attacking one another with food. I've covered many of them. A few weeks ago, someone was attacked by a pizza. Hey, sometimes you just got to grab the nearest hot thing that you have at your disposal when you're going to take somebody down. Sometimes it's a pizza. Sometimes it's a saucepan full of grits, guys. You work with what you got. Sometimes you're in the kitchen. I don't know about you, but I like grits very much. Very good. A little cinnamon on there. Oh, boy. I like them when they're very buttery. Oh, side of sausage. How do you guys like your unhealthy breakfasts? Please call me. I want to hear about your unhealthy breakfast choices. Anybody do the corned beef hash? You into this? Does everybody know what grits are? You're in other countries. Do you know what grits are? It's like a cousin of oatmeal, I guess I'd describe it as. You should Google it. Check it out. You should have some. You should keep them away from your face when they're very hot. You know, just take it easy. They can be dangerous. You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast.
Too difficult? No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man.
An elderly woman stole a truck from a Florida assisted living facility, which led to a police chase, of course. The deputies say they thought they were chasing a drunk driver who had stolen a pickup truck. Turns out it's an elderly Florida woman behind the wheel of the stolen truck. Investigators say they're not even sure she knew what she was doing because she's so elderly. Oh, don't put it past these crafty elderly. They know what they're doing. This began at 4 p.m. on Monday when the police responded to a call of a truck that was driving recklessly on the highway. We have a quote from Major John Bunesnik. Yeah, it was going slow, that truck. Couldn't maintain a lane, was running other cars off the road. Actually running them off the road, man. We responded with lights and sirens. The driver didn't stop. Truck was weaving from side to side, never stopped, was going maybe 35, 40 miles an hour, you know. We thought it was a drunk driver again. Just the way it was bobbing and weaving like that, it just seemed very erratic. We were driving behind it at a slow speed. I recorded video of the whole damn thing. I just assumed it was someone who was totally high, man. You know, you get these high drivers. You think you could smoke that devil's reefer and still drive straight? Well, you better think twice, man. For about 10 miles, my lights and sirens are following this vehicle. I'm thinking, I'm almost positive I'm behind a drunk driver, a DUI driver, as we call it at the station. A couple of times it looked like they were going to go clear right off the road and hit a ditch or whatever, but this individual managed to keep it on the road somehow. We try to make the chase end as soon as possible. We did what's called a pit maneuver, where we collide with the truck to stop it from moving. Yeah, that's a fun part. I like to do the pit maneuvers because I just like to crash into people. I really do, and this is the one time I can do it legally. You know, shoot, man, I look forward to crashing. I crash right into. I'm very good at it too. I've crashed many times. That's how I get people to drunk drivers. I just crash right into your ass. That's right. Once the truck was stopped, we got out there, me and the deputy with our guns drawn. That's when we realized something, that this wasn't our typical drunk driver. This wasn't our typical high on the reefer driver that we encounter these days. This was an elderly woman. Well, it was pretty clear to me she wasn't aware where she was, what she was doing, where she was going. You know, this kind of thing can happen. You know, when you get to that age, man, sometimes you just lose touch with reality. People think you're drunk, but you're not. You're sober. You just don't know where you are. That's all. Don't know what you're doing. You wake up on the bathroom floor with your pants on your face. You know, this thing kind of happens when you get to this age. Well, this lady's driving the truck. I don't even think she knew where she was going. Turns out she was a resident of the Brookdale Senior Living Place, which is where the truck was parked. She just left her living facility, got right in the truck, just drove off like that. Trying to get away, man. She probably don't like the senior living places. You know, I know how that can be. You know, we had to put my mom in one of them things, and she disagreed with it. You know, but then you gotta shake them up. You go, Mom, you gotta stay here, Ma. You stay in this living facility. They got everything you need. Shuffleboard, you name it. No bingo action. Come on. I'll drop you off some beers every Friday, Mom. You're gonna like it. You stay here. Don't even show up in my house, all right, Ma? You stay here. You know, some people don't like that. Yeah. So this lady, she stole the employee's truck from the parking lot. It was running, apparently, at the time. You just can't leave trucks running around. These elderly people, they're bored, man. They're bored. Many of them don't have vehicles no more. They miss those days of driving with the windows down, hair blowing in the wind, like Thunder Road, the Bruce Springsteen song. You know what I'm saying? They love to relive that stuff. She just drove off in the damn thing. Well, you know, no charges are going to be filed, though, because we don't believe the woman even knew what she was doing, you know. The owner of the truck also doesn't think she knew what she was doing. No charges will be filed. Nobody was injured. It could have been terrible, though. It could have been very catastrophic for her or anybody driving down that road. I tell you, man, she was all over the place, man. And I honestly, I had a great time crashing into it. That was the funnest part of my day. I hadn't crashed into somebody in months. That was really that was lovely. Yeah, we love it down here in Florida. We crash right into you. Hey. Today's the greatest day I've ever known. Because it's Florida Friday, guys. That's why it's the greatest day. How do you like my Billy Corgan impression? Pretty good, right? It's all right. Anyways, I want to thank somebody who joined my Patreon. Oh, right up top, the Patreon. Rebecca Bullock joined the Patreon. She's a patron joining the Patreon. And I'm so appreciative. What a way to lead me into the weekend with this happy news that Rebecca has decided. You know what? I'm going to support that guy that records in a closet 5 days a week. I like what he does, all right? It's not the greatest. His impressions are shitty. I'm not crazy about his singing either. But I'm going to give this guy a little bit of bucks a month, keep him caffeinated, because I find it somewhat entertaining, mildly entertaining. That's what I'm going to do. That was my impression of Rebecca's mind, because I'm sure her voice doesn't sound like that. Rebecca Bullock, I'm so appreciative of you. And guess what? I'm going to write your name on the closet wall. That's what I'm going to start doing. I had 3 people join the Patreon this week, and I'm going to put your names up on the closet wall. I'm going to write them up there. I'll send you a photo of this as well. If you guys want your name on the closet, you know the famous closet that Jonesy records Weird AF News in, join the Patreon. Just a little extra thing you get. You know you want your name on the closet wall, don't you? Why not? Why wouldn't you? Be part of history. It's like, you know, when you go to a baseball field and they got those numbers retired in the back. You're like, oh, yeah, Mickey Mantle and Lou Gehrig and Roger Maris and Yogi Berra and Joe DiMaggio and all those numbers. The Yankees have so many numbers that they've retired. It's ridiculous. I hate the Yankees. I hate you, Yankees. My Red Sox kicked their ass, by the way. Just saying it. Let's not go off on the sports tip right now. I'm just going to say that. So if you guys want your name on the wall, the closet wall, join the Patreon. Super easy. Patreon.com/WeirdAFNews. You also get extra bonus content. Why not? Pretty good. Download the Patreon app as well and do a Weird AF News search, or go to weirdafnews.com and click on the link. If you want to call the show because you feel all motivated, you got energy, or maybe you're on drugs, just want to express yourself, call 646-450-2012. That's the show number. You can also email me, funnyjones@gmail.com. Send me articles, a little feedback, whatever you want. Whatever you want to say. You want to say, Jonesy, I hope you have a nice weekend. That's fine. If you want to see what I'm doing this weekend, you can follow me on the Instagram. It's Funny Jones. I'm performing tonight in Long Beach, California. Someone reached out to me recently. They're like, why don't you tell us where your shows are so that we can go? And this person was in Ohio. And the reason I'm not doing that is because I'm only performing in Southern California. So unless you're in Southern California, there's really no need for me to... If you follow my Instagram, you'll see where I'm performing, by the way. And it's all Southern California. So if you're out here right now, it's very dicey traveling and doing shows elsewhere. I'm just kind of waiting for that, for the most part anyways. So right now, just SoCal. If you're in the area, hit me up. You can find out where I'm performing on my Instagram @FunnyJones. Just follow the Instagram. Do it. I love you. Hope you have a nice weekend. All right? Be safe out there, okay? Be careful. Don't participate in any voodoo activities, all right? Try and keep it clean.